Happy Friday, everyone. Got a couple little short topics to talk about while I get out here and take this walk. But I am Semi-Retired Bob. I talk about the carnivore diet, lots of things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. What you're watching is you're watching me walk. I know this doesn't seem super exciting, but if you consider 2.5 years ago, I couldn't do this. I could barely stand up for more than a couple of minutes. It gets a bit more exciting. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. It means a lot to me that you spend just a few moments of your day with me. I would like to ask y'all to help me out just a little bit. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Drop down in the comments and say, "Hi, Bob." And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All these things are absolutely free and help me get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. Before we get into the topics here, I do need to make a couple of notes as I start up that hill. I'm not going to go super fast up this hill today because I'm adjusting to the temperature out here. It looks like a nice bright sunny day, but as you can see, I've got my scarf on. I actually have a flannel shirt on underneath the big orange coat because it's 9 degrees right now. 9. I forget what that is in Celsius, like about minus 17 or 18, somewhere in there, for those of you in Celsius land. So it is quite chilly out here today, but it's a beautiful sunny day. I know quite a few of you were expecting me to go live with Dave Mack on Wednesday. I was expecting me to go live, but Dave wasn't feeling good. He had a sore throat, so we decided just to cancel it. Normally our next one would be on the 8th, because of course 2 Wednesdays from now is New Year's Day. But he has something else going on the 8th. I have something else going on the 15th. So I'm not sure what that next Wednesday is. It'd be like the 22nd. So it'll be a little while. But we haven't stopped. We're just pausing for the holidays. And I know you guys are watching this on Friday, and you're thinking, "Bob, you don't normally put out a video on Friday because you do your live streams on Friday." I have something going on this afternoon, so unfortunately there won't be a live stream this week, today, but there will be one next Friday, unless something else comes up. Whew. This is a long hill in 9 degrees, but we're going to go ahead and go on around the big block here, just because we can. So far I don't feel anything cold except my face, but not much to be done about that since I want to talk to you guys. But there's quite a few questions out there about the sustainability of the carnivore diet. Oh, can you really do this long term? Well, I've only been doing it for 2.5 years, so I'm not a very good example. But You know, you got Professor K that's been doing it for about 10 years. I think Dr. Barry's been full carnivore now for 5 or 6 years. Kelly Hogan. The list goes on and on. And of course, it wouldn't be a discussion on long-term carnivores if we didn't mention Rick down there in Miami, Charger Mopar. I believe he has crossed the 41-year mark. It might even be 42 now. And then Maggie the rancher, who I believe is now 83 or 84. Because she was 82 when I first heard about her. So she's been doing this for, well, what would that be, 66, 67 years now? So yeah, it's very sustainable. Well, Bob, what about all these studies that keep saying red meat's bad for you? Red meat will give you cancer, especially colon cancer. And that, my friends, is where the discussion's really going today. When we get these studies that tell us red meat causes colon cancer. First of all, you can't say causes, not even on these new studies that just came out, because they're not lock-in. You know, I don't know what all the specifics of the studies are, but they've been all over the news feeds for several days now. All of the older studies that, you know, they've been out there screaming, oh, see, red meat causes colon cancer. Well, maybe it does when they're talking about, you know, the way they classify red meat as being pizza, lasagna, hamburgers with all the other stuff. And what do all those dishes have in common? Unless, of course, you're making it yourself at home. But if you buy it somewhere, I bet there's some seed oils involved. And isn't it interesting, now that we have a new director of Health and Human Services coming in with the new administration, and seed oils have been accused of being bad for us. And then, of course, the big food companies are putting out counter stuff that says they're not. But now, just in the last week, we've had 2 different studies. And remember, it's just, you know, it's associative data. You can't say it causes this or causes that. But it appears from these 2 studies that seed oils are strongly associated with the rise in colon cancer in this country. Isn't that interesting? I mean, I haven't gotten a chance to really read through the studies yet. I'll do that sometime, but it's been in the news enough I felt I should talk about it today while I'm out here walking in this frightfully cold weather. This is what No Excuses is all about, folks. I hope that person collects their leaves off the sidewalk before the snow gets here. Because walking down that sidewalk, even with my spikes, if there's snow and ice covering a great big pile of leaves, that could present a problem. I was watching, as I do, I usually just pick one at random in the evening just before I go to bed and watch one of Professor K's Who's Wrong on the Interwebs programs. Primarily looking for ideas for videos, but they're entertainment as well. And he was talking to this, girl who is a student. She's a dietitian to be, as she says in her intro. But I found it very interesting with all of the studies that were coming out over the last week, that later in the video, as she was of course talking about fiber and how we need fiber to help prevent colon cancer, and she was even talking about, of course she was wrong talking about fiber, but you could tell that she was genuinely concerned about the rise in colon cancer and how she wished she could get everybody to eat more fiber to stop this epidemic of colon cancer in its tracks. Well, I hope she is paying attention to what is being talked about now. I just found it all interesting, and I hope you did too. This is quite chilly out here. Yes, indeed. But actually, once you get going, it's not that bad. And I'm getting some sun. Most of my skin is covered up, but I am still out here getting some vitamin D or some sunlight, which will eventually convert. But people like to talk about seasonal depressive disorder. And we all know I'm no expert on this. I'm not an expert on anything. I'm just an old retired truck driver sharing my thoughts. But I don't get that seasonal depressive disorder. Not anymore, because even on days like today, while it's not a lot of sunshine, it's still some sunshine. And I stood out on my front lawn this morning in the brutally cold weather. I did not do it barefoot because I got a grounding mat inside under my desk. But I did stand outside this morning as the sun was coming up and let some sunlight get into my eyes. This is good. But yeah, I don't like to recommend supplements, vitamin supplements. But if you live in one of those areas where you don't get a lot of sunshine this time of year, or if you live around here but don't want to get out in the 9-degree weather and walk, I perfectly understand that. So you might consider getting yourself, for this time of year, if you are feeling a little down, you might consider a vitamin D supplement. It's D3. You'll want to get one that has K2 with it, and make sure that it's not suspended in some kind of seed oil which a great many of them are. Now, I know what you're going to say, and I've talked about this quite a bit too. The synthetic vitamins that you buy in the store are not nearly as good as what you get from your food. And I still think a beef and eggs diet is plenty. I just thought I'd bring this up because I know quite a few of you live in areas where it's even colder than it is here, or there's no sunshine at all this time of year. If you're feeling just a little depressed or off, you might consider it. Like I said, I'm no expert on any of this stuff. I don't even remember who I was watching that was talking about this. But it seemed like a good little add-on topic as I walk on around this big block. But I have certainly rambled on long enough today. So I'm going to go ahead and, because it's less than a week till Christmas now, I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera around, play us some Christmas music, and I'll see you when we get back up to the house. Cut the music. Thank you. Remember how I'm always saying, if you add a new exercise, do it slowly? Well, it took me a little longer than usual to get around that big lap, because I was really stupid yesterday. I had been doing my squat exercises with my 15-pound kettlebell, where I hold it in both hands at waist height. I do a squat, and then when I come back up from the squat, I pull it up towards my chin and then let it go back down to rest. Then I do another squat, and so on and so forth. And I just wasn't feeling it yesterday. So first I went on to Amazon and was going to order a heavier kettlebell. And then I thought, Bob, that's just dumb. You have lots of heavier things around here. So, in my stupid brain, I went into my storeroom and grabbed one of my 47-pound power stations, one of my big ones. And it went really well. I mean, I picked it up and then did a squat with it and then pulled it up and then did another squat with it and pulled it up. And I did 2 sets of about 15 with that much heavier weight. I didn't think anything of it at the time. I woke up this morning and every muscle I worked in the squat and pull up with that much extra weight at one time, everything was kind of hurting today. I didn't even really want to get out here and walk, but it's not just the no excuses part of this time of year. It's just the way I'm built and see things now. No matter how bad I hurt, I feel like I'm really missing out on something if I don't get outside and walk every day. Anyway, hopefully some of what I said today made sense. Franklin and Keto Carney Cajun, your names are coming. I'm not sure where I put the stupid marker when I went down and back and unpacked everything, but I will find it, and your names will be on the board here very soon. But that's what I've got for you today, folks. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm sure I'll see you in a little bit of a video tomorrow for Weekly Wins. But if not, have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget, get out there and be 1% better.